What is going down, everyone? It's time for Mojobreak.com, The Hype. Episode 346. Lots of stuff to talk about today on the show. Tier 1's coming out next week. We're going to discuss that. Bat Knob City. It's a good product to rip. Also, a breaker pulled 10 white sparkle Wembies yesterday. That's crazy. Controversy in the hobby. We'll discuss that, along with what style of breaks do you like? What kind of style of breaker do you like? We'll do the good, the bad, and the ugly in terms of our latest video that just hit Instagram that you guys should check out as well. Also got a great deal for you guys. The guys in the shop are going to hate me. I just came up with this. They're going to be like, that's why are you doing this? You're killing our margins, Doug. But if you go to mojobreakshop.com and you want to get yourself a box, if you spend over $200, you're going to get $50 off. That's crazy. That's a 25% coupon if you find a box that's $200. So use code 50MOJO on mojobreakshop.com. And this thing is super limited. Like maybe a handful of you guys can use this. So try it now while you're listening and take advantage. Get yourself a box, maybe a Series 2 Jumbo, and you're going to get $50 off. I mean, you might even be able to do that flip life. You might even be able to get on that flip life with this deal. So if not,
we haven't talked about Gary Vee for a while.
Flip life.
I think of flip life. I think of Gary Vee.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think of guys in sandals and socks that wait around Targets. That's what I think.
That break in Walmart.
They're not waiting around Targets anymore, though.
Flip-flop life,
that
you
stuff,
could call it, too.
Flip-flop life.
A lot of that retail SKUs are readily available now. Don't need flip-flops. You can just get right in.
Except the Wemby stuff.
Speaking of flip-flops, I actually seen one of our employees in flip-flops the last couple days. I thought that was against your rules and regulations.
That is against my rules. Who has flip-flops?
I mean, I think it's okay to wear like sandals with socks. That's okay. But to just the bare feet in the workplace, what do you think?
You know what I think.
I mean, okay.
I need to know. Well,
how were the toes?
Was it you?
No, it was not me. I am not a. I used to be a go out in flip flops guy back in like college, but now I'm like, nah.
It's a safety thing.
Sure.
I don't want a case to fall on your big toe and shatter it.
Yeah. To quote a former guest many years ago, Jimmy Pardo, I like a closed shoe and a long pant. Although I'm wearing shorts today, so. Can't really say.
They don't call me Denim Dan for nothing.
There you go. You're like no truer words have been spoken.
Oh, speaking of toes, I gotta take a poll. This show got a little weird. Have you ever had a pedicure in your life?
No.
Have you had a pedicure?
No.
100%.
I just got one yesterday.
No.
I've had it before.
No.
I'm not opposed. I've never done it, but I'm not opposed.
I am.
Yeah, I'm going to Hawaii, and I had
I don't
claws,
want anybody.
You know what I mean? So
I don't want to touch my feet. I don't want anybody else touching my feet.
It's a good experience, Dan.
But
it's not that.
And you feel a lot
I will
cleaner,
tell
too.
you right. It's not for me. It's not for me. I've had this conversations before. It isn't for me.
What about a manicure?
I actually don't like. I've had massages. I've actually had one couples massage. We'll never do that again either.
Wow.
The most awkward situation ever. I don't want anybody touching me. Ugh.
Massages are good for you, though.
What? Yeah.
Okay. This is the Seinfeld episode now. Now it's become the Seinfeld episode.
No. And I did. And, okay, I'll break it down for you. This is how it went down. We went. It was
off air. That was a clarification of that was a male masseuse. By the way.
So basically, what went down is that we were in somewhere in wine country, and it was me and the wife, and we were doing like a little couples massage thing. It was her idea. We pull up, and this business is out of the house. So I'm already like, this is a little
it's a horror
weird.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go in, and they have like a back room, and it's a husband and a wife that run this little home massage parlor. And we go in, and they start doing a little checklist. They're like, okay, what do you want? You want a light massage, like a deep tissue massage? And I'm like, deep tissue sounds like it would be more up my alley.
No.
And then basically what happened, the wife was like, okay, well, I'll take her, and then you can take him. So I had a dude just laying into me.
It's tough.
For about an hour.
It's
Ruined your
tough.
experience.
And the thing is what he kept on telling me, and it really put the cherry on top and ruined my time, is that he kept on telling me to relax. Which there's nothing more awkward than a guy's rubbing you down and he's like, relax. I'm like, relax for what?
And
like,
the deep tissue is like they're actually getting in there too.
Oh yeah, he's getting in there. He's doing the quads. I mean, he was up in there.
So like, relax. No,
but I gotta say, back to the pedicure. Is,
Okay.
You get the paraffin wax at the end too. It's like it molds to your feet. Like candle wax, they put it around your feet basically. Oh, it's amazing.
It's a great time, right?
I was just on Twitter. They gave me a cup of water. They're like, "You want champagne?" I was like, "No, I'm good."
Now you can let the feet flow in Hawaii.
Yeah, now I'm good to go. They took off all the skin. They took off all the skin that was unneeded. Yeah. Rubbed my legs down. I'm good to go. I got my sandals ready. I might even wear sandals on the plane tomorrow. I don't even know.
You could have done Hawaii with it though.
That is where
it's not like you get to Hawaii and they're like, "Oh, no pedicure. Get back on the plane and get back to California."
Well, I had some talons going on, so I needed it done.
Socks and sandals on a plane is a move I always go to because that's just the comfort and being able to get them. Because I gotta take the exactly. I gotta take the shoes off. I'm not trying to untie and tie them up. I got Crocs and sandals is actually what I've been going with lately because I just don't want to deal. I just want to get them on, get them off, be done.
Tie your shoes.
Do I tie my shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tie my shoes.
Am I the weirdo who doesn't tie?
Hold on.
I just like.
Wait a minute.
Well, these are Velcroed, but like.
Okay.
But generally, like, if you tie your shoes, they just don't look as good. So you just kind of tuck them in.
I used to do that back in high school.
Well, I never got out of high school. I'm just.
But no, yeah, like I actually wear like tomorrow. I have my outfit planned out. I wear sweats now, so I don't have to deal with taking off the belt.
No belts.
And then I'm seriously considering wearing some Birkenstocks through the TSA line. So that I can just, I'm good. I'm
eliminate
relaxed.
the belt, eliminate the shoes,
Well,
eliminate as much as possible that you have to take off.
Is it not TSA pre-check? You don't even have to take off your shoes.
I know. I'm not saying
No, we have clear.
Clearly,
Well, clear is
keep your
nice,
shoes
but
off.
like you got to
Take
get
your shoes
clear
off.
and PSA.
I know.
TSA
I need to do
pre-check.
that.
Yeah.
I need to do that, especially with a lot of travel going
Clear is
on
nice
lately.
though. I have clear.
But let's get into some talk. So
I think honestly, clear is kind of a waste of money now.
It kind of is.
The clear line a lot of times is it's the same, if not longer than General Pop.
No way.
Sometimes.
It is.
Sometimes.
It is, and they're like, you got to scan your eyeballs. That's generally, I mean,
it doesn't work half the time.
Yeah, they're like they're all put the dot in between your eyes, and you're just like going back and forth, and you're just like, is it there? Is it there?
Then you're like, sir, are you drunk? Maybe,
but not yet.
It depends on if I'm leaving or if I'm coming. But anyways, so if you guys aren't familiar with the White Sparkle Prism Packs, they dropped last Thursday on Panini's website, done via Dutch auction, which they started at 1,000 and they ended up selling for 600, which blew my mind. It's 3 cards. That's it. You get 3 cards a pack. So basically $200 a pack, $200 a card if you look at it that way. All cards are supposedly, even though they're not numbered, 20 or less. You have chance at autographs. Of course, it's not going to be Wemby because they don't have an autograph deal with Wemby. But obviously the big draw is the Wemby White Sparkle, which is some people are saying is possibly a $10,000 card, especially if it's a PSA 10. It's going to be in the 10,000 range. So definitely a product where it is a big gamble. So yesterday, Backyard Breaks apparently pulled 10 Wembys in one sitting, one live feed, 10 of the Sparkle Wembys. So if there's only 20, they pulled half the run.
Good for them.
So I wanted to get your guys' opinion. I mean, I bought 3 packs, so I'm definitely not getting 10 Wembys.
Maybe you get 3.
I was looking at it like I wanted to be around $400 to buy it, to break it for you guys, for the customers at Mojobreak.com. Obviously, I completely undershot that idea because I'm probably still living in the 2012s where money was a lot different for breaks, but I always think about the customers' wallets. But it's not to say what Backyard's doing is wrong. Their customers want some White Sparkle. Apparently, they did $200,000 worth of White Sparkle packs yesterday. So they hit 10 Wembys. And, of course, Collectibles Guru posts this on X. And what do you guys think the comments are?
What do I think the comments are? Rigged.
Great job, everyone. Very, very. We love this. That's what it was, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone loved it.
Opposite day.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, how many packs? I think Doug and I did the math. I think this release that Panini had in Dutch auction generated about $1.3 million
For Panini. Yeah.
for Panini. I mean, Came up. Now, if they went through 200,000, I mean, that's a pretty substantial chunk of the full run.
That's
right,
a lot
and we
of-
don't know.
that's a lot of packs.
We don't know
So-
if they're out of them or not.
They should pull that many. It's just a volume game, right?
Well, and then some people are saying, because we always thought that there was 20, but some people in the comments are saying that there's 50 Anthony Edwards on the pop reports. Now, we don't know if those were regraded. There's probably some of that. You got an 8, you resubmitted, it's the same card. So we don't know if there's more than 20 or not.
There is a possibility that they did make more of them. So that would make the print run. Does it specify that the cards are numbered 20 to less? They're not stamped.
They're not stamped.
They're not stamped. So we don't know. Maybe there is 50. Maybe there is 100 of every card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, some of the comments are pretty good, and I'm going to take a different approach. You guys, I could obviously just sit here and trash on Backyard, but for those that are saying that Panini is in bed with Backyard, you guys are absolutely incorrect. Like, Panini does not care about any breaker. They care about money. That's all they care about. Money.
Well,
they care about making money.
They care about a little bit of breakers.
They care. I mean, we've been invited.
They were a early, as far as a manufacturer, the earliest adopter of the breaking community.
But okay, I should rephrase. You're right. You're right.
Maybe now everything's changed a little bit. The landscape's changed a little bit.
You're right. You're right. I shouldn't say that. I should rephrase it. They don't care what breakers get in terms of cases.
Okay.
They never have. They never will. To them, it's money. And yes, they are going to bring some of their better breakers out to rookie premier events, to New York basketball events, things like that, to break with some of the athletes, which we are obviously grateful for. I mean, C-Rad, we got to break with Tatum and Lonzo, and I broke with Bosa, and you got Bryce Love, and stuff like that.
That's my dude.
That's your dude.
That's
I'm
my
saying.
dude.
That's the first name that came to my mind. He made a good impression. But I don't know why we laughed at Bryce Love.
No, yeah, way better football player than all of us here on this couch
combined.
That's fair.
That's fair. But my thing is like they don't seed packs to breakers. They never have. They never will. It doesn't happen that way. So that is a big conspiracy. That's not true. I mean, like I said, we would have gotten loaded packs. We've done events with them. There's never been any cloud of like, hey, we're going to give you guys the one-on-one in this.
If there was,
they don't do that.
For us doing the events, and we can, peel back the curtain and let you know, like, if there's any time for something like that to happen, it would be at one of their sanctioned events. And without a doubt, never a conversation that was had with us or anybody at Panini that this card was going to come out of this case or this case is loaded or anything like that. Never said, and honestly, never insinuated. So to say that they know where products are and they send different breakers products that are juiced or loaded, at least with Panini, I can say without a doubt that is incorrect. And I know that, like, is crushing to a lot of conspiracy theorists out there. They're just like, why are you're saying that? Because you're a breaker. And it's in your best interest to back it up.
No, we have no reason to lie. I mean, we don't. Honestly, like, plus, if they sent a lot of these breakers juice cases, you probably would see these cards never surface and they'd be on eBay.
Because think about that. If breakers knew, like, we pulled the triple logo, man. Luka, Curry, LeBron. That was sitting in our inventory. That wasn't the first case that we ripped of Flawless. It was sitting in there. I mean, you think we would have ripped it for our customers regardless if we knew that it was in there.
Right.
Didn't matter. But other breakers, I know without a doubt, would be like, I'm going to dome a box. I'm going to dome a case. And I'm going to take this triple logo, man, and I'm going to sell it through Golden or PWCC or Heritage or something like that.
I mean, what pisses me off about what they did was the fact that they were willing to spend $700 or $800 on a pack and didn't allow me to buy them at $400. So that's where I'm angry, is they're willing to pay more than I was, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanted to get them at like 400 because I was just like trying to do the math on trying to sell these things.
Sounds like you're cheap. Sounds like
so
you're
I'm just
cheap.
looking for a bargain.
Yeah, you're looking for a bargain. Bargain breaks. I think that's actually, it's already taken.
I got to find some ways to pay for my manicures, you know. So I mean, I got to save money here, got to save money there. No, I mean,
How
much
much is a pedicure? Like $100?
Not cheap.
It's like $80.
Yeah, they're
$100.
not-
Oh,
super cheap.
after tip, $100.
Give them a $10 tip.
Yeah.
Oh, $90. I'm pretty much in the ballpark.
5% cash discount too if you have cash.
5% cash discount.
Yeah.
Most of them cash.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That's
Cash,
you know.
cash money business.
Yep, they'll charge you that fee, that 5%. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously everybody is you know pointing at them again. You know, like they started doing like repacks mostly, and then you know obviously White Sparkle comes out. Now there's people just say, of course it's them.
But what if we find out that they made a lot more of those packs and the base cards have 100 copies apiece?
I think that's
Would
I think
20
that's a more realistic
would
thing.
20 would them pulling 20 be or 10 would be crazy? Not really.
Yeah, if you're saying they open up $200,000 worth of packs, think about that. I mean, even at $600 a pop, $700 a pop, that's a lot of packs, man. 10 Wembies, and I don't believe at all for a second that there's only 20 copies of
right,
those.
there's more.
There's, I think I'm very confident that there's way more than 20 copies of that particular White Sparkle because they aren't numbered. There's a reason they're not numbered, so they can make more of them.
Right. And let me ask you guys this as far as a layman's question. If you were a company that loaded up boxes,
Mm-hmm.
why would you want to load up boxes? To sell more product.
To sell more product, but you don't. But none of these manufacturers have product to sell.
This was already sold out at Dutch auction.
But even the way the products are distributed, they don't have enough product to benefit by putting out juiced boxes because they don't have any more to sell.
Right.
Generally, like Panini distributes all their product to different distributors. It's gone. They have a little bit that they sell on their like B2C on PaniniAmerica.net that you can buy boxes. Very, very little amount of the print run is available there.
Right. So there's no need.
And they don't have you ever seen them raise the price on anything? It comes out at a price similar to Blowout and a lot of the other like larger online retailers, and when it's out, it's out. It's not like a box comes out and it's $250 and they sell out of it, and then 3 days later it's up at like $329. Like when it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
Now, if they have any more, what they do is they probably sell it to their distributor channels at a higher price for restocks. But again, most of the product goes out in their first wave of distribution.
Right. Yeah, so they don't need to do anything to sell this product. It's going to sell itself.
It's going to sell itself.
So we put out a video about a little spoof video on our Instagram about a new breaker app looking for your next breaker. If you're a breaking company and you want to find your next breaker, and we you know, it was obviously a spoof video. We had Cody eating a cheeseburger and it called Messy Boy Breaks, and Dan was Desperation Breaks. But I wanted to ask you guys, like, take a roundtable here. What would be the perfect breaker? Like, let's take it to the positive level and not a spoof anymore.
Yeah.
What personality is the perfect breaker in your guys' minds?
I think at the very top of that list, I would say is probably like very knowledgeable about most of the things that they're opening up. I think that's at the top of the list. Personable, so like somebody that you can easily have a conversation with. Somebody that's going to be. These are some bullet points that I would think. Somebody that you can see that cares about the cards, about your cards that you're paying them to open, as much as if this is what I always tell people. Like I open up as if like these were my own cards.
Yep.
Because I know people pay a lot of good money for that.
So just don't throw them on the floor.
Yeah,
I think there's like a lot of cardinal sins that you can do, and I think one of them is removing cards or packs or boxes off camera.
Yeah, you got to keep everything on a screen.
And I think
100%.
if you've been doing it long enough, like when you put out the packs, you put out the boxes, like where the camera starts and where it ends. And just to keep everything in the customer's vantage point. Not that you're doing anything shady. It's just, it shows that you know what you're doing. It shows professionalism. But I also agree. I think a little bit of like showmanship, like knowing the sports, knowing the players, probably outweighs a lot more the product knowledge because there's so much stuff with like the product that changes even year in and year out with like different products of the same like release. Like there may be a different pack configuration. We just saw it. Like I know Contenders basketball, the pack configuration has changed, but it used to not be that pack configuration.
Yeah. I think product, like you said, product knowledge. I don't think it's up that high on my list because you're like you said, products are always changing, and I think you just gain a lot of that just through experience. Like the more products you open up, the more you start to understand what's coming out of there. But like knowing the actual sports, like at least have somewhat of knowledge on most of the sports, I think is one of the probably key things you would probably look for.
I think
a top tier breaker.
I think presentation, entertainment, and delivery. Like, don't have the absolute. And you got to find that fine line. You don't want to. You don't want to be the monotone, like no excitement, just flat the whole time. You also don't want to be like out of control, enthusiastic, jumping up and down and getting nuts.
Which a lot of people are in the beginning. To be fair to a lot of the newer guys, you know what? To add to that point, though, one more thing I want to add to like what makes a top tier breaker. I think at the end of the day, like most things that people do, like if you actually enjoy it, that's gonna show.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you actually really like cards,
that goes for any profession.
And if you actually like opening up cards, I think that makes a huge difference. Because then like you're excited with the customers of what you're opening up, right? So I think that would be an important thing that I would be looking for as well. Because a lot of people just do it because they know like they can make money or whatever. But like you can tell like if a dude's like he's just here for his check.
Authenticity. That's really what it is. And like you said, it goes for a lot of professions, but especially when your profession is you're on camera for 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 hours at a time, they can tell when it's like, yeah, it's either, and there's the regular grind of things like but they can tell when it's the grind of I don't want to be here and the grind of like I'm working, it's a long day, but hey, we're still having fun. People can tell the difference.
100%.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, at first you guys kind of broke it down, but I was like, man, you guys are speaking about a unicorn, somebody that needs all the 13 years of hobby knowledge, got to be entertaining.
Well, you didn't say, hey, give me somebody to be okay. We're like
you gotta have the
you're asking for the top tier.
We're doing
We're asking
I guess
you guys
here.
had the Mike Trout of breaking,
right?
Yeah,
we set all the breaking stats to 99 in the breaking.
yeah, all
true.
stats to 99.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
What things have you seen out there as a breaker professional that bugs you the most about maybe other breakers? Besides, I don't know, maybe going out and smoking weed. That might bug you a little bit too.
Yeah.
But because then you forget stuff, and maybe you're not as excitable on camera.
Yeah,
forget where you're at.
Right.
Forget to go live.
That happens.
Happens to the best of us.
Sure.
One of my pet peeves, and I've talked about it before here, is putting a monetary stamp on everything you do. We don't talk about specific monetary values for cards. Like, we know what cards
generally might
be worth, but we don't sit there and go like,
this is for sure.
This is an $800 bill right here. This is a $700 bill right here. Yeah. Oh, you just got paid. That's $1,200 minimum.
You're setting your customers up for disappointment.
But you're also making it like you're taking the gambling aspect, which is definitely like, let's face it, a gray area altogether. But you're taking the gambling aspect and you're literally making it gambling.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you're just like putting a monetary value on every single thing, you're just you're running a roulette table at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you start treating it like the sports books. They get bonuses and cash out features, and you're like, I'm halfway through this break with the Spurs. Will you take a $200 cash out?
Yeah,
Hey,
Can you imagine?
I've been there with those sports bets. I'm like, damn, man, I should just cash out right now, like halfway through the game. You know what I'm saying?
When you're up and then you lose and you have $0.
But I agree with Dan. I think for me, maybe overexcitement is something about it. But like, I know that certain people like they like my break style, but I also understand like some people don't like when you get too crazy with the booms and the big hits. But for me, from my standpoint, like I over the years I've learned how to balance it where like I still want to make sure people, like when they get the big hits, they know they got a big hit. So I don't always scream at all the big hits and stuff. Like, I do a little graphics every now and when we get big hits, but I'm not always doing the extremely loud booms and stuff. I usually reserve those now for like when I get something that I know that's huge, right? That's worth getting excited for. But I know even then some people still don't like that, which I totally understand. But I just want to say, like, from my aspect of when I do that is that it's genuine. Like, I'm genuinely excited for the person that got the hit, and I'm genuinely excited like seeing this card actually in person in front of me. So there's nothing like, I'm never faking that like excitement for those big cards.
Yeah. I mean, I think to play on the video, I think one of my pet peeves is the desperation of like, oh guys, I've been here for 4 hours, and if somebody could help me out, and like, this break is now, $20 less than it should be, and I can't believe it's not sold out, and it's, it like makes the customer feel like it's their fault.
You're basically blaming the customer at that. You're like, you customer, you Joe customer, you are the reason why I am losing money. Like, why would that customer want to come back to you? Granted, yeah, they might be getting a good deal, but you're actually like shaming them at the same time. Like,
yeah.
And I know like my character was like an over exaggeration of it.
Yeah.
But some of it is very true.
Some of it is very true.
And you've seen it really, really come to head with the auction live streaming formats. Because I think the auctions are where it really gets called out. It's like, these auctions are going for $1. Like, they should be going for $35. Well, yeah, they probably should, but they're not. If you keep on saying they should go for this, or you guys are getting a steal, like, if people are getting a steal, why don't you just be happy for them? Like, you got a good deal. Nothing's happened yet.
Yeah.
You haven't hit anything out of the break. You may have just got a steal, but you still lost $5 because you didn't get anything out of the break.
That's it's
so
easy to do that way.
It can't be a steal
Yeah.
if you don't know what has actually come out of the box yet.
Very true. That's the easiest way to do that defense. Is just like, wow, what a bargain you just got. And you know what? A lot of times people know, like, I just got that team for $1, and it should have been $15-$20, and like,
but you can
have fun with it.
But
like,
you can, you can
don't
also
be like, man, I should have done this. Like, I don't know, just have fun with it. It is what it is.
I
like,
mean, you could see the wheels turning
beast.
with some of these breakers that they're just like, and I don't know what their pay structure is. I don't know how the inner workings of their companies work, but the wheels are turning, and we've actually seen it on multiple platforms where they just go, all right, everybody's getting a refund. I'm done. Like, I'm not making my money.
Get it.
I'm just going to give everybody refunds. We can't sell this product for this cheap. Like, that is absolutely 100%
a no-go.
A no-go, unacceptable. There's the old take the L. Take the L,
it's a
live
bad
with
business practice. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe you should do better at marketing your breaks and not shame the customers. And maybe it's something internal that you got to look at yourself and figure out what you're doing wrong.
Yeah. Take that L and get that W.
But we are in a society where not a lot of people look inward. They tend to deflect and look outward.
Well, and I think, honestly, it like creates, and we got some great questions, and we are live on the Hype if you're listening to the audio.
I completely forgot we're live.
We are live, and we have some great questions. I'm about to get to Ziggy's here after I make this statement, but like, it's one of those things that like, you need to, take your L and then kind of move on and not make the customer feel like they're doing so. And I think there's a lot of ego in this hobby. Like, guys, honestly, like, guys have 100 people in their chat, and they think that they are the king of the world.
They think they're Taylor Swift on the Eras tour selling out arenas.
Where you get guys that like, you get guys that go live on like some other type of platform like music, and there's like 10,000, 20,000 people in there, and these guys don't act like that. So I think you just got to honestly just humble yourself and not expect that like when you do have an L coming up, there's no ego involved. It doesn't matter that you had 100 people one night and you have 10 people this night and you're not a superstar, so it's hurting your ego. Like, that's like a huge thing. Like, don't walk around thinking that people are going to ask you for autographs, because nobody cares about you most of the time.
Everybody wants to be internet famous, dude.
But Laszlo said, Let's Go every third pack is kind of cringe for him. We've talked about Let's Go for a while, and I catch myself still saying it. Maybe not every third pack.
I love Let's Go.
I hate it.
I still love it.
We need another phrase. That's the point.
I hate Let's Go, and anytime I say it, I internally cringe. I'm like,
shout out Tom Brady.
Now I just overly like it's just,
well,
Let's Go.
Russell Wilson was trying to get Let's Ride going, but he just sucked that year, so it didn't work.
Let's Ride.
Yeah, that was
Let's ride.
The non-Hall
trying
of Famer.
to make fetch happen. It ain't gonna happen, Russell. It ain't gonna happen, bud.
No. The non-Hall
of
Famer.
I like Let's Ride better than Let's Go.
Well,
but Ziggy in the chat says, should breakers be licensed or regulated? And that's a good question. I think you came in right before we were talking about the gambling aspect of breaking, where us, being doing this for going on 15 years now, have never really tried to talk about values. Obviously, we know there's people chasing value, and that's one of the big draws to breaks. But at the end of the day, it is cardboard. I do think that some people should be regulated that go down that path. I think that there should be practices put into place of what you should and how you should sell it. I mean, all these people are entrepreneurs, so they don't want to be told how to do things. But I think the biggest disappointment for me seeing some of these things is like, if I'm in a room and I can't figure out what you're selling, and I've sold breaks for 15 years, nobody in the chat knows what you're selling. So, like, people are getting into things by smoke and mirrors, and you got a chance at the filler to get to the givey, and then you get, you might get a sparkle pack or something, and, here's some of the chasers, even though some of them already been hit. Like, that kind of stuff is like, you're taking advantage of somebody that maybe pops in the room and that doesn't know what's going on, and they think that they're going to spend $500 and then they're going to get $10,000 back because that's how you're selling it. I think that is a no-go, because that's how you lose people in this hobby. And the whole point of having people in this hobby is for them to enjoy it. And if they get burned or they feel like they get slighted, then there should be some regulations in certain aspects.
I think I don't love regulations not even in our industry, but in most industries. Like, you start getting a lot of red tape. Like, there are definitely things about our industry that probably should be regulated, and you just talked on it. The repacks, I think, are the glaring situation that it's kind of the Wild West, and it's been the Wild West for a while.
West, yeah.
I think
since Super Break days.
Yeah, I think that probably needs some regulation. But as far as breaking as a whole, I don't view it. I don't view it that needs to be regulation, because I don't think we're just facilitating and selling the product in a different way. It's the same exact thing as you going into a shop and buying a box yourself. We're just essentially selling it in a more of a crowdsourcing type of way, where we're allowing multiple people to get involved in it without having to flip for the full amount of the box or the case.
Yeah, and then if you want to put a tinfoil hat on, which I consider myself a conspiracy
entrepreneur.
Wow, enthusiast.
We're baking up conspiracy.
I don't even know.
I don't even know how you get one. Yeah.
No, I like
to read them, but
I like
don't believe
conspiracy entrepreneur. I'm just really.
We're in the conspiracy shop today. We're cooking up another one.
No, but what I was about to say is, if you do have a party or a body regulating it, what is their motive?
Yeah.
Right. So if it's like Fanatics is going to regulate it, well, is that a way for them to control the supply?
Sure.
Is that a way for them to eliminate other companies? Like,
over regulations, and it always tends to have more negatives than positives.
Right. So, is somebody going to do it that's a third party that has no skin in the game? Yeah, they may do it for a little while, but their time is more valuable than spending time regulating breakers, right? So there's got to be some kind of financial gain from regulating an industry. So that's my answer to that. But this is a good chat. I think we completely went off of what we were talking about today.
Do we need to have like a governing body of breakers? Like, does that make me the
League of Break? Oh yeah, United Breakers.
Can I run for president of the League of Breakers?
Do we need like a UN of breakers? Is that what we're? The Breakers, United Breakers Association.
Am I like is there like a speaker? Is there a hierarchy?
You're the Pelosi of the.
I was gonna say there would be a lot of power. Yeah, that would be a lot of drama I could see building up and power struggles.
It sounds like a nightmare. sounds like a nightmare.
Except it would be the exact opposite, because the one thing I've learned being in here for you guys have been here for a lot longer, obviously, is all of us are very close to community.
Wasn't always that way, Cody.
It wasn't. I'm sure.
It wasn't.
I can tell you now, it's like everyone seems very friendly. Everyone is mostly friendly and are very close friends. So.
Go back to 2014 at the Industry Summit.
Times have changed.
I think Sports Card Radio was actually in there as well. I think Ryan was in there, and he talks about it. There was breakers that were like.
This is 2012.
No.
Oh, you mean about like the first breaker?
Yeah,
meeting.
the breakout breaker meeting, because 2013 was the first time that we went to the Industry Summit. We were the first breaker ever to go there. We had to explain what we do. 2014, it's crazy. We went from like being the only breaker there to actually having a breakout session that was all breakers. And I remember the big thing that was going on, that Blog TV was being purchased by YouNow TV, and it wasn't going to work because the only way you can actually stay live is by getting likes and getting voted. So if you didn't get likes while you were live, your stream would just shut down. Which we were like, that isn't going to work that's not going to work for the breaks. So that was a main concern. Another topic was other breakers were screaming at other breaking operations for stealing their customers. And that was where we were at.
In 2014.
In 2014. Wow. Now,
10 years ago.
It's changed dramatically since then. And you're right. There's a lot of breakers that Cody's met. Cody's been around. Like, it is a tight-knit community for the most part. And we do talk to each other, and we do bounce a lot of ideas off of each other, and we do try to grow it the right way. We know we all associate ourselves with people who have the best interest of the collecting community and the hobby in mind. So, yeah, but I mean, it wasn't always that way.
No, it wasn't. I mean, even with we didn't do the Facebook guys. The guys that came around like 2016, 2017.
Yeah, there was a lot of drama in the Facebook community.
Because when you have a Facebook group and you're doing breaks, your whole member list is available to anybody to private message. So you basically had guys who were like, oh, this group has 10,000 members that actively are buying into these guys' breaks. I'm this guy, and I do breaks too, so let me private message you and give you a better deal. And there's a lot of that going on. So there's a lot of those guys that came up around that time that have maybe beef still to this day. But I wanted to talk about this PSA thing, which I don't know if you guys I'm glad Cody put it on this list because I did read it earlier in the week. So PSA, the app, is now going to feature a new feature that brings clarity of why the card got the grade. So they're going to put notes in there. So you'd be like, chewed corner, or you spit on the card, or, there's a ding in it. Like, you got an 8 because of this, which I think.
Or this is the 400th card I looked at today, and my eyes are pretty tired.
Yeah. Did it on a Monday.
This was a late Friday afternoon before a long weekend. 8.
I mean, do we think, this could be good or it could be bad, because now these pieces of notes are going to be put out to the public, of course, because if a guy thinks his guy's card's 10, he gets an 8. He's like, they dinged me for this, or they didn't even give me a note on this. I mean, so it could be bad, it could be good. We got to see how it all plays out.
I think it's what we've always wanted from a transparency
I think
level.
Overall, it's going to be good, because then, now one thing you guys always talk about is like, you're right. Like if you don't know, like if they see the same card 40 times, they can't. They probably don't give them all 10s or whatever, right? But now we see the notes of all 40 of them.
But now,
I don't know if the public will, but I think you as a
But
Customer will.
my
But
issue
like you
with
said,
that,
people are going to put that out, though.
Yeah.
my issue with that though is you're telling the person exactly what the flaw is of their card, right? So
then
then you basically take it to you get to rub it down, do a little rub, little juice it up, and then you know where to work on it, and then you resubmit it. So you're kind of we've been talking about trying to eliminate these rub downs and these juicing, and now we're just basically pointing you in the direction where to.
A lot more rub down talk.
Lot-
this episode
lot-
than
Yeah, I was gonna
anticipated.
say. Went from massage to
No,
rubbing
well the
cards.
thing is that like I could either call it that or I could just give free
Yeah.
press to the
Oh,
person
yeah,
who's the leader of that.
Yeah.
So I'm just rub it down, juice it up.
Yeah, Jim's juice or whatever.
Yeah, Jim's juice.
Jim's juice.
Jim's juice.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And,
I'm
Robert's rub down.
That's right.
I honestly, and maybe I'm an idiot, but like if I get a card, I don't touch the card. It's meant to be that way. I submit it. If it's that way, that's what I get.
You don't even touch it?
I don't even put a microfiber cloth to it or nothing. Now you may call, you're an idiot. You could have got a 9 or 10. I just in the purest form of it, it's came out of the pack. If a guy left a little short and curly on the card and it somehow made it in the slab with that, then that was meant to be. That's the way that my fate of that card happened. For me to actually look at it in a magnifying glass and like, obviously if it's 90-10 centering or 80, 70-30 centering, I'm gonna see that and probably not grade the card. But like, I'm not looking at these things, and I'm not looking at it like I just want to, submit it, and if I get a 10, I get lucky. If not, then I didn't get lucky.
It's one of the and Conrad probably gets this a lot because he breaks a lot more than we do. But when you pull a card and the person's in the chat, they'll be like, how does it look?
Mm-hmm.
And that is like one of the hardest questions to answer because you're just like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, but you like, that's like not really an acceptable, like, I don't know is probably the correct answer, but it's not a satisfying answer. It's hard to, it's one of those things where you're just like, I know it came out of the pack and it should be absolutely pristine. But that isn't the world we live in.
No. And honestly, you don't want to count your chickens before the egg is hatched because he could say, I think it's a PSA 10. Then his customer goes, oh, wow, that Wemby's going to go for $3,000, right? So then he's like, so then he's like, okay, well, I can get some more breaks because I got $3,000 coming to me now. So I can run up that credit card tonight because I got that $3,000 card. Comes back an 8, and he's like, now I have $1,200. I'm in debt, and because this guy told me it was going to be a 10.
Yeah, it's the same thing as putting a price on a card.
I think
essentially,
to be conservative, it's always safe to assume you're not going to get a 10.
Yes.
If you want to put a monetary value on a card that you hit in a break, I don't think you should start at the 10 and get a price and be like, that's how much the card's worth. I think you should probably comp it at somewhere at like an 8.
So yeah, get the
and
average.
Then, and then be like, okay, 8 is probably as bad as it's going to get. 10 is about as good as it's going to get. Yep. Probably going to be in the middle. Probably going to be a 9. So there, but I think people want us to assume the best. I think everybody wants to assume. Everybody wants to assume everything's going to be a 10. But I will tell you right now, like the PSA grades that I've seen recently, it ain't what it was 5, 6, 7 years ago, where you submit cards and I felt like you'd get like 80% 10s. Like it is not like that anymore. Like I think the last submission you did, there's cards that came back. I think you got a 5,
6,
a 6.
Wow.
Like, and we do this for a living. You think that we would send a card in knowing that like this is dead on a 6? I'm gonna waste my money. I'm gonna get this slabbed up. 6.
I mean, to be honest, I probably didn't look at it that long. I just found cards that I think needed to be graded, and I went to the show and submitted them. But yes, I did. If I noticed something glaringly, I wouldn't have put it on.
It's also the convenience of being at the show and be like, well, I've got them, versus like I have to take the effort to send them out and wait for it all. Like,
correct.
It also plays a different part of like, what cards am I gonna grade? You're thinking, well, at the very least, slab it up. Let's throw it in a slab. It'll look nice.
Yeah. I would love somebody at PSA like before they take your cards. Like if you do it in person like that, they look at it and they're like, this isn't going to get a 10. Like
that would be nice.
They basically don't tell you what the grades and be like they're probably not going to get a 10. Like,
well, you could do a min grade and get it
yeah,
back.
but
Right.
you have to. But that's something you have to pay for. You'd still have to pay for that.
You're right. You basically pay for air because you don't get it slapped.
Yeah.
You're like, nah. Congrats to the Panthers, by the way. That was great. That was great. Game 7 there.
Go, Doug Plagens. Congrats.
Doug,
Great call.
congrats.
How cool was it?
It was great.
I watched the game. The game's great. But then watch it Sports Center, and the very first thing they lead off with is our buddy Doug Plagens on the call of a lifetime. It was awesome. So, congrats.
And I'm glad you put this because I have a side note. It says, on the notes, which you guys don't see on the thing, it says, congrats to our friend Doug Plagens, because I was sitting next to my wife and I said, this is my friend's call. And she goes, not everybody's your friend. How's your friend? And I'm like, it's my friend. She goes, have you met him? And I'm like, yeah, I've met him. And she's like, well, you think everybody's your friend. Have you hung out with him? I'm like, well, yeah, kind of. But you put it on here. So
It's confirmation. Confirmation. Friend of the show.
Same
Doug
name as
Plagens.
me.
So,
I mean, come on now. There's not too many Dougs out in the world anymore.
It's not too many Dougs.
When we talk to him again, I think the first question I'm going to be like is, did you? And maybe you can answer this if he's listening. Did you have that in your mind of what am I going to say? What? Have something prepped or
I think you go in the moment. You let the emotion take over.
It was a perfect way to end. Where it was the puck in the corner and
10
they're
seconds,
they just battling it out and they're like, yeah, it's a perfect way.
And that's kind of. It was actually perfect because that's what the Panthers have done.
Exactly.
They're just that grinded out team, and they grinded out that game. And I gotta say, if you're a Panthers fan and you're watching that third period, you were probably on the edge of your seat because it looked like, at least on 4 or 5 different occasions, that the Oilers were going to tie that game. It was almost like the Oilers were on a 20-minute power play for the last third period.
I don't even know. There was very few shots on goal by the Panthers.
That loose puck in front of the net, that was where I was like, oh, it's
tied.
When they couldn't get in. Yep, it's over.
But
they couldn't get it in because they're just at that point they looked. In the last 3 minutes, they looked so tired.
They were tired. They were tired. But I would say the Panthers are probably tired too.
Oh, for sure.
Doing a lot of chasing around. That it was a good way. I mean, I gotta say, ran circles around the NBA Finals.
Yeah, it did. It did. The NBA Finals the NBA playoffs and the Finals was one team just dominating, where it's like you saw how even the NHL was this season with their playoffs. It was a lot of great series, and obviously this one is going to go down in history. As
and anytime a franchise win its first one too. You know what I mean? It's one thing the Celtics have how many championships? You're like,
18.
okay, whatever. There was a speaking of that, there was a kid who was 22 from Boston that has experienced 14 championships between the Red Sox, the Bruins, and the Celtics in his lifetime.
And the Patriots, though.
And the Patriots.
Yeah.
14 out of 22 years, you're raising a banner.
Must be nice.
And then you got Panther fans that,
doesn't know what it means to struggle at all.
Yeah, you get a little spoiled there.
Yeah.
I mean, and we were a close second when we had the Giants, the Warriors, Niners making it, Sharks making it.
I'm gonna make a proposal.
You can't basically be like, oh well,
try to squeeze the Niners in there.
The Niners got second place a couple times.
Well, I've had 11.
Three silver medals ain't bad.
11 championships in my lifetime as a fan.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
Out of 41 years. So I mean, I'm not that guy. 22-14.
No.
That's
You haven't had a football one since 1994.
Yeah, but I got 5 of them.
Anyone from Boston?
No,
81
81 doesn't count.
Anyone from Boston, 25 and under. I think you have to be, for at least the next 10 year, Detroit sports fan.
Yeah,
because this isn't fair at this point. And then the Detroit sports fans have to swap positions with you for the next 10 years. Because come on, spread the wealth. This is getting ridiculous.
Yep,
it's getting ridiculous.
Before we move on, I know we're running out of time here with C-Rad's got to get on some breaks. What do we think about McDavid not walking out? Do we think it's acceptable? I mean, it wasn't Florida. For the Conn Smythe.
One, he wins the Conn Smythe, which first guy since. Do you guys remember the last guy? They talked about him. I don't know if you saw.
Giguère.
Jean-Sébastien Giguère of the Ducks, who was incredible in that playoffs.
But somebody had a good point. It might have been TJ.
I guess I'm okay.
That was like, how did that guy obviously lost the Stanley Cup? He's the goalie.
Yes.
So he had to give up goals.
He did.
to lose the Stanley Cup.
But again,
But he still wins the Conn Smythe. And I know
it's a playoff.
It's the playoff.
And that's why. He was just so dominant.
Probably because
leading
he
into
saved
that.
a lot of goals,
Yeah,
right?
and if I'm correct,
if
I'm correct, that did go to a game 7. That was a 7 game.
Was that 2007?
That was
No.
03.
No.
But,
It was
but I'm sure they're looking at like how many times a guy shoots and how many saves you have, right?
Absolutely, save percentage plays.
Even
a
though
factor
like he
as well.
didn't do enough to let his team.
Yeah,
win.
he obviously if he would have done better.
Yeah.
And if
his
you
team
watch,
Well, hockey's a team sport, too,
Right.
Dan.
Well, when you're actually, it's one of the few sports you can ride a goalie.
especially in the playoffs,
You could ride a goalie through the playoffs and into the Stanley Cup and win. The best team doesn't necessarily win the finals at the Stanley Cup.
Yes.
It's the team that has the hottest goalie going.
I mean, look, I think this is one year where you could say the Florida Panthers over the last 2 years has been one of, if not the one of, or the last 3 or 4 years. They have a President's Cup trophy in the middle of that too. Like they're one of the best franchises in the sport right now. They have been for a while. But even they, like Bobrovsky, like put them on their back. Like if they did not lose 3 in a row, Bobrovsky would have been the runaway winner of the Conn Smythe Trophy. But because of that, and McDavid, 3rd player all time with 40-plus points in the playoffs. Mario Lemieux and Gretzky are the other guys.
I don't even know if
He's up there. He's still up there.
I don't even know if the Sharks had a player that had 40 points in the season.
I like the move of
Draft
not
coming
coming
up
out
Saturday.
because it is a team sport. So for him to go out there after losing the series and accepting something, to me, if I'm like his teammates probably
true.
respect him regardless of what he did because he is who he is. But I think if you go out there and accept that trophy, you're kind of singling yourself out.
I'm going to take this L with my team.
I think the NHL needs to read the room. I think the NHL needed to give the Conn Smythe to somebody on the Panthers.
So they were saying during the broadcast.
There's no way that Connor McDavid would have came out and said, "You know what sucks? I got slided. I should have won the Conn Smythe." He wouldn't have said anything. They could have given it to Verhaeghe had a good playoff run.
I mean, Bobrovsky was the choice, really. I think that was the guy.
Why didn't he get it?
Because of those 3 losses.
I think those 3 losses where he looked bad in those 3 losses, a couple of those losses.
You could have gave it to literally the person who scored the winning goal in Game 7.
But it's a playoff.
I know, but but
I think it's
but
always
nobody is going to question it.
No.
Are the fans celebrating a Stanley Cup win going to start being like, boo, this guy shouldn't have won the Conn Smythe Trophy?
No.
But the amount of points he had, you almost can't.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was such an overwhelming case for him. And I think they were talking about on the broadcast during the second intermission, they have to have their votes in 10 minutes before the 3rd period ends. And so I think there is a little bit in their mind of like, well, whatever happens right now, we know Connor McDavid just had one of the greatest runs in playoff history points-wise. Like, absolutely did.
What do you mean they have to have their votes in?
Apparently, the votes have to be in 10 minutes before the end of the 3rd period.
Yeah, they're not going to make a decision
so that
2
they
minutes
can
before.
so that they can announce it right
Can't
there.
they just make it after?
You would think, but I get it. They got to get all the votes in.
Because
They gotta tally it all
honestly,
up.
because if the Oilers score, tie the game up, Oilers win the game, then.
Right.
Yeah,
and then suddenly Sergei Bobrovsky's holding the Conn Smythe Trophy, and they're like, "Oh, this is awkward. It's even more awkward."
Yeah, but at least he's at home.
Yeah. If now that's if McDavid,
at least
if he was in Edmonton,
if a Game 7 happens in Edmonton, he 100% accepts it. I think so.
Yeah, for the fans.
Yeah, for the fans.
For the fans.
For the fans.
Real quick before we move on from hockey, does this help Connor's value? Does this hurt Connor's value in terms of the hobby? Does PSA 10s go down because of this? Did he do enough to say, you know what, I believe in this guy long term? I mean, I know he's already got a pretty good legacy.
I don't think it helps.
Does it propel?
I don't think
it helps, but I don't think it hurts either.
I think it's just
break-even.
they're still going to be very expensive.
Yeah.
He's a generational player. May go down in history as the best ever to do it.
Even without a cup?
He's
cup.
still pretty young.
Yeah.
He's still. I mean, I know he's been in the league for maybe a
9
decade,
years,
but
10 years.
but I think he came in at like 18.
Yeah. He needs a cup. I mean, that's more, for, I think, for his
Don't we
overall
all?
legacy. But, hey, yeah, right. But, hey, it took Alex Ovechkin how many years to finally get his first, So a lot of guys wait a while. So maybe next year. This is so much talent on that Edmonton team. They're going to be right back in the thick of it next year. I have no doubt. Maybe they're going to be like the Panthers were last year, where they needed an L to give them that hunger
it
to
looks
get back
like
into it.
Edmonton does have one more year left before they're going to have to start making decisions on some contracts.
Have to pay some dudes.
And they had a ridiculous turnaround. They were pretty much last place in the West, and they fired their coach.
Yep.
And ended up in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Pretty crazy. Why does that always? It's always
It
hockey. It
happened with the Blues too.
It happened with the Blues.
Yeah.
Why is it always hockey?
Change of scenery.
It's always amazing that it's
Doesn't
hockey.
happen,
It's like
doesn't happen with the Sharks, but it happens with
no, it doesn't. Again, that NHL draft this Saturday at the Sphere, so that'll be the new era of Sharks
But
hockey.
Eagles gonna be playing too, or
I heard the
Scalabrini?
Macklin Celebrini.
Celebrini.
Friday, by the way, is the draft.
Yes,
Saturday.
I heard that he may go back to Boston University and do another year in college.
can't blame him. You want to play
Draft
But
Damn, he don't want to play for the Sharks that much.
we do have Will Smith
Oh
coming
my
to town.
God.
Now,
Embarrassing.
No. He goes back. It doesn't mean they still own the draft rights.
Oh.
So it's fine. That's fine.
He's all.
So draft him
He's
regardless.
all. I don't want to play here.
Yeah, no. But also, it is
Pull out
true.
Eli Manning.
He'll be in his second year in college, and he'll be 17 years old.
He's gonna
18 years old.
He's
going
gonna go back.
Crazy.
He's like, I'm going back to college. I'm doing the Van Wilder approach. I'm just gonna go to college for like 12 years.
All right, so we got some tier one. We haven't had a lot of new releases. We do have extended series today on the terms of hockey. That there is some sweet Bedard rookie autos in there. There's also some canvases of him. And that's a relatively cheap break to get into, cheap box to get as well. And if you're in the Santa Clara area, because we can't sell the boxes online, you can come in our shop and get a 2023-24 Extended Series hockey box. But next week we got Tier 1 coming out Friday, July 3rd, Wednesday, July 3rd, right before the 4th of July. And Tier 1's always a fun release with some bat knob chase. I think new this year they have buttons added to Tier 1 relics. Tier 1 relic autographs and Tier 1 jumbo autographs, which we all know and love. It's a good breaking product. In a 12-box case, you're typically getting 36 to 39 hits, so very hit-heavy.
Yeah.
Where do you rank Tier 1 in terms of baseball releases, C-Rad?
In terms of baseball releases, I'd say it's in the mid tiers for sure.
I was like, it was a softball because it's like called Tier 1.
Tier.
And
Is
I
it
was
in
like,
Tier
I was
1
like,
or is
I'm
it
like,
Tier
I was gonna
2?
go. It's like Tier 2, Tier 3.
Yeah.
Mid-tier.
I'll say tier 1.5. In terms of releases.
6.5.
Yeah, 6.5. But it's all because it's a hit based product, and it's fairly. I wouldn't say we're early in the season. It kind of comes out mid season, right? It feels like, but usually I feel like it comes out a lot earlier, doesn't it?
I know. I feel like it comes out like right
earlier.
after tribute.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about the new base set that's included? Because now there's base cards. Then they haven't done that since I believe 2011.
Yeah, and that just continues. Again, we talk about a lot of baseball products here on releases every single week. It just continues Fanatics like trying to add more value to the products that they've come out with every single year. So I'm excited to see what the base cards are looking like, the parallels, and it's always just a fun break because like you said, it is hit base and people love their hits, and now we're gonna get base with it. So should be a fun release.
And you got that thick pack that like you're like, what could it be? Could it be a book? Could it be a bat knob? Like this is.
Yep.
This is thicker than, which they do kind of fool you sometimes. There's some, I think 3 packs out of the case have an extra hit. So you're like, am I going to have a bat knob in this one? But it might just be an extra relic. But it is a fun release, and we'll be having that on Mojobreak.com. Should be up for pre-sale here shortly.
Yep.
We do have Topps Chrome up for pre-sale. So get your teams ready for Topps Chrome, which comes out July 17th. So right in time. Yeah, right in time. Summer winding down, National around the corner. Get on some of that. Get some pre-sales going on that. We should probably let you go, and we can kind of continue it if you want to get back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can stay, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I want to keep you.
All right, guys. I'll see you in a couple minutes.
Sorry.
Live on Mojobreak.com.
Join C-Rad on Mojobreak.com.
Yeah, also,
he's going
click
to the other.
Click off of us.
Literally
and go
going
watch
to
him.
the other live feed right now.
Yeah,
is what he's going to be doing. By the way, 44 cut autos is what I'm looking at, and 22 cut signature relics is what they're saying.
Wow.
Relic auto, including Willie Mays in there. A lot of big names. A lot of the big names they've been having for cut autos, and if you're into that sort of thing, there's a lot of fun ones in there this year. Looking at Got Amelia Earhart in
I don't think he
there.
wanted to leave. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, no,
He's
yeah.
like,
C-Rad was like,
Who's that, Emilio Estevez?
Emilio Estevez, Cannado, yeah. John Adams, Johnny Cash. We got Jackie Robinson, Marlon Brando.
is the Hawk Tua girl in there?
Hawk Tua Cannado. Where is it?
Dude,
You know that's I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing Leaf hasn't jumped on that already.
Oh, I'm sure
Unless they
calling.
have, and
I'm
we just
sure
don't know.
they're
I'm
calling.
gonna look. You know what? I'm looking up right now.
It's funny it goes to Leaf, right?
Always, it's always Leaf. Probably.
Did you hear that? So she was a teacher. She got fired after that video.
That's not surprising.
And something happened where like one of her social media accounts got blocked. But apparently she just signed like a memorabilia deal. So she's out there finding a new career by one video. That's how crazy this world is,
a
right?
memorabilia deal for what? Like hats?
Yeah. So they have
and it says Hawk Tua on it, right?
2024. It's like a presidential hat, like race hat. And she was seen signing the hats.
You guys ever? You guys? I know I've talked about it a lot. Have you ever seen Idiocracy?
Yes.
We're there. we are in it. We're living it. This is it.
All right, we didn't miss anything. Hawk Tua girl is not a Leaf exclusive yet.
Not yet.
Oh, jeez.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But it is crazy, and this is speaks to because me and Cody had a conversation yesterday about, we put out that minute-and-a-half parody video that did really well on Instagram and a lot of comments, 40+ comments. Comment on it, please. It's funny. I think it's funny at least. I mean, somebody told Dan to shut up and break, but other than that, the rest of the comments are pretty positive. But when you put it on TikTok, it's just too long. It doesn't get to the point where you have a video like that could be cut for 5 seconds, and you get to the punchline within 5 seconds.
Well, I've seen the full video, and the full video is like 2 minutes long.
Yeah, it's one
It's
of
like a
those like
street
on the
question.
street, person on the street questions, all that stuff.
Got to be in Nashville or New Orleans or something like that.
They're always in one of like 3 places. It's like Nashville, New Orleans,
or Austin.
Sometimes you'll see Vegas ones, and then like there's a whole subgenre of like the New York ones because that's a really whole different. It's a whole different monster right there of the types of folks you're gonna get on the street.
But I wonder if she like had that prepared or that just was off the dome. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it was off the dome.
Did she like think about it? Like, if somebody comes up and asks me this question,
I
hope
think
not. Part of why
I hope
it's
not.
taken
If she's
off-
going to prepare a statement, there's going to be something better than that.
Part of why that's taken off
well, obviously it was gold.
It's the authenticity. It feels authentic. Like it feels like this. She probably had a couple, drinks in her, and just was like, "Yeah, all right, just gotta have fun with it." Like that's why I took off.
How many fantasy football names are going to be team names? Are going to be
I
Hawk
don't even
Tua?
want to know.
But it's going to be Tua, T-U-A.
Yep. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Every league's gonna have it this year. Every single league.
Can you trademark that? You might be able to make some.
You're on it. Yeah. Can you trademark?
Well,
fantasy
I don't know how
football
many
league?
times I was in a league and people still use it today. Somewhere over the Dwayne Bowe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Somewhere over Dwayne
there's
Bowe.
always one guy in the league that uses it, and like for one, when
Always.
was the last time Dwayne Bowe ran a route? Like, you know what I mean? Like, no disrespect to the great Dwayne Bowe from the Kansas City
what you
Chiefs.
gotta do is you gotta go with like after. This is why sometimes I wait to name after a draft because I don't want to pigeonhole myself of like, well, now I have to draft Dwayne Bowe because I have him in my it's my part of my name.
I want to be in your league.
I gotta wait.
If you're drafting Dwayne
Right.
Bowe,
I gotta wait till be like, okay, my quarterback is Kirk Cousins. All right, what can I do with that?
Or like
whatever.
McCaffrey in your name.
Right.
And you're actually kind of giving up your draft strategy by your name too.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, this guy's
Exactly.
going to draft Mahomes in the first round,
Yep.
so let him
Because
get him.
he's- yeah,
That's
'cause he's
why
like
I keep my name the same. It's always been the same. Yours has been the same.
Yeah, because for my homies is gonna draft Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, we all know.
You're like the pick right before him. You're like, I'm good. I'm not, or right after him. You're like, I know I'm going to get my guy. So he's going to get Mahomes.
Yeah, don't give it away. Sometimes wait. Also, don't be the guys who. I don't know if you heard our breaker Miles was in a dynasty league that had, and I'm not kidding. They drafted 2 weeks ago.
Jesus.
And it was a 3-day long draft. What the hell? Every time we come in,
Are they doing a whole 54?
No, it's like a standard 12
Well,
team
it's probably
league.
an
It's
offline
nothing
draft.
crazy.
You're up, and then you have to send an email.
It's nothing crazy. It's like a standard 12 team, or to whatever. Nothing insane, but
You can't even think.
Wild.
You can't even think about drafting until at least like week 3 of the preseason.
yeah. To me, the moment preseason ends, that's when you can
Yes.
draft.
That's when you
Same
start.
with it's everything, every single sport. If you're in a fantasy league, the moment that sport's preseason is the day after it ends, that's when you draft.
We do it every Labor Day.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
It's the
That's a
Monday
perfect-
before the Thursday night game.
That's perfect.
I remember we were in that paid league, and they actually had it on Friday after the Thursday game, and the points would count. Like, there was one season that Peyton Manning had, like, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to grab Peyton Manning super early because they get the points, for that. But, yeah. What up, Ron?
Preseason? Did I hear that right? Preseason points?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was
So
like, whoa.
this league we were in,
thought
the draft was on Friday after the Thursday
gotcha,
night game.
gotcha.
But the points count from the Thursday game, so you had that data going into the draft.
Oh, yeah.
So if a guy had like 150 yards receiving, you're like, maybe I would pick him up a little earlier because I would have the guaranteed 15 points from him for that week.
You don't want to get, like I remember the year Clyde Edwards-Helaire had that crazy Thursday night game.
So do I.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember.
Are you going against him?
But like,
No.
but do you want to spend a top 3 round pick on Clyde Edwards-Helaire that year? Like, it would have felt weird to do that.
Right.
And,
Yeah, I
and it
remember
wouldn't have paid off. in
There
the
was
long
an
run.
issue with a card that was a Clyde.
That's right.
It got like
I remember
it literally
this.
got ran over by the USPS truck.
I remember this.
And
it was right after that game.
and that-
So
and that-
it was like the recent comp was like $500.
Yeah.
We went. No, it wasn't even that. If I remember, it was like out of contender. Was it? Are we
No,
thinking
it's
the same
Panini
one?
Black.
It was Panini
Oh,
Black.
okay.
And,
You know what
and
I'm
the
thinking
card,
of?
The card was probably a $25 card,
Okay.
but because he went off on Thursday night, and we basically found out the card got ran over, like on Friday or Saturday. Now the card was worth like $800.
Oh, jeez.
So we gave him $800.
Yeah.
It came up.
Bad timing.
You could have
No,
for
you
us.
know what? You know what I was.
If you would have
thinking
held
of?
on to that money, you probably could have the biggest Clyde Edwards-Helaire
Yeah.
PC, and could buy all of them.
A couple months later, it was out of contenders football, and it was like a rookie of the year insert, and we went viral for all the wrong reasons. 'Cause
Oh,
I think
yeah.
a guy got one card, and it happened to be that, and
I remember that.
did not like the way it was packaged, and I just see notification after. And first of
remember
all,
that.
the way it was packaged was completely fine for that type of card because it was like we looked up comps like it's a $3 card.
No,
It's like $3.
That's 3-cent card.
Right.
but At that point,
Right.
at that point, it was $3.
At that point, it was $3, but yeah, that's the one I recall.
And the card
like,
wasn't even
the whole-
damaged.
No, it was
No.
perfectly fine.
It was just like it could have been damaged, so
Right.
I'm gonna yell at a cloud.
right.
You know.
So anyway,
But let's end you guys on this. We do have obviously some new
let's
releases this week.
end on a higher note than that.
then Clyde Edwards-Helaire nightmare story.
Museum Collection Soccer is out this week, so we'll see in a relatively interesting time in the hobby right now with summer coming around and everything like that. But the two major soccer events going on with Copa and the Euro Cup. We'll see how these if soccer will bring the fever to the hobby. So we'll see that on Friday with Museum Collection. Donruss Racing, what do you got?
Ryan Blaney is on the cover, but you didn't know that.
No.
No, I didn't. I
No.
didn't know either.
So I just taught you guys that.
That's
Ryan Blaney, last year's Cup champion. And,
Looks like he's holding it.
Yeah,
big
it's
cup.
It's a big ass cup.
that
Do
is
they
the
drink
cup
from that?
right there.
Probably
Nope.
pour some bush lights in there.
They
Don't
doing
they drink
what they're
milk?
doing. Yeah, with the Stanley
No,
Cup where they're
that's
throwing.
Indy 500.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe some bush
Indy
lights.
500 is the milk.
Yeah.
Which
Busch-
I've always been like,
Bush lights in that one.
oh man, how hot does it get? I'm like, that's Memorial Day weekend. It's not gonna be cold. I know it's Indianapolis, but like, would not want to drink.
I think if you're sitting and you've been driving a car for the last
yeah, that's
4
if
hours,
that's
it's
ice
really
cold milk.
yeah,
Not bad.
Even if it wasn't ice cold, your body temperature is probably like at 120.
Yes.
So you're probably like, this is delicious.
Yeah, it's fair.
Anything.
It's
What's
gotta
cooler
be
than being
ice
cool?
Ice cold. It's got to be ice cold.
All right.
If that's like, yeah. Anyway, we don't need to get into it.
Got to throw a little Outcast reference there.
Thank you.
And I just got everybody off topic by that one. But anyways,
So yeah, and that racing product's hot. People are digging it.
It's always, I mean, every time we talk racing products, it always is like, for the value, it's hard to beat, really,
Right.
because of what you're getting in there, and like, they're always some of the most fun rips.
There's nothing better than going to a track on a Sunday, though. I'll tell you that.
yeah, I mean, you guys can keep putting lipstick on a pig. But let's talk about Walmart. A guy went into a Walmart
and set up his breaking operation.
did it. I mean,
We got the photo up there.
we got
right
the
now.
photo.
Where
and-
was he? Where was he broadcasting?
I don't know. Well, he's in the Stanley mug section.
That's right. I didn't even think about that. There's Stanley mugs next to this guy's. He's in the camping section.
So he went and got a table, probably from the camping section, right? Because he obviously didn't walk into Walmart with his own table.
No, there's definitely, because on the right you can see tables.
Oh yeah, yeah. So he didn't move very far.
Still on it.
So it looks like he's got some Heritage baseball and some Optic. Yeah, maybe
We are laughing, but that person may be the smartest person
Is this
in the
one
room.
of those? This man is living in 2085 while we're stuck in 2024.
I mean,
is that what's happening?
I mean, he's
here?
got a pipeline of supply.
Yeah,
I mean,
pipeline of
that's
supply,
true.
overhead, non-existent.
If they're like, "Hey man, do you got this?" I don't know. Let me go to the front register real quick.
yeah. Well,
Why-
that's the only complaint is he does have to walk probably a fairly
Right.
good distance. To
Can
get
you
the boxes.
can you Venmo me $80 to get
Because he has the access to the self checkout, so like that'll be pretty quick. He
Sure.
just scans it real quick, runs back to his breaking operation.
Get a quick Mountain Dew or something. while
Maybe
you're,
maybe
up
he
there.
has a like a helper that's a runner that's basically running, doing the product.
I mean, and he wouldn't even have to. He could get all the money up front and then go buy the boxes. So it's like he doesn't even have a risk involved. In
Now,
this.
I don't know how anybody at Walmart who's working there is not walking by and being like, what's going on
Yeah.
here?
Can you leave?
Can you like? I don't think this is. I think this is against Walmart protocol.
Well, he did very clearly have his receipt there. So like, he's telling
probably
people,
like he's all.
telling
I'm,
people he did pay for it.
he's all. I'm testing out this product. I'm making sure that this table is going to work for what I need it to work for. And is that his keys there?
That's
Yeah,
his keys.
his
keys.
We're
Okay.
assuming this is this person's keys.
Okay.
He's got the bag that they probably gave him when he made the purchase.
Well, and and it's also smart because you've got the bug spray right there. And if the Walmart employee does come to say, "Excuse me, sir, you have to leave," get out of here! Oh God, my eyes! So he's ready. This guy's prepared.
I mean, and on certain apps, all you need is the phone. So he's just sitting there posting up. He's trying to get the Wembies for you guys, and maybe from Heritage, maybe I don't know, Dominguez or something. He's
Sure.
It's
trying to
good.
fill it
It's
up.
good content. I would like to find out where that person is streaming, and I'd like to watch their breaks.
Maybe we're onto something, just like traveling breaks.
Traveling breaks is there's a great video series that I think they also do a real podcast. It's literally called The Podcast That's Outside, and they always are just on a street corner and they just talk to random people with the table set up like that. So maybe this is what we're doing, but we're doing it in the hobby. We're doing it in the breaking world. So.
I mean, but can you use? What if he gets a cut? Like, I'm assuming he didn't buy the table, right? So what if
No,
he?
again,
What if
the
his box
sticker's
cutter?
still
What if his
clearly on
box cutter? Put a little mark on the table. Does he own it then?
Gotta be. Oh, and another thing.
Who's gonna
being in
police that?
Being in the camping aisle, probably Swiss Army knives nearby. I would
Foldable
imagine.
chairs.
Foldable chairs nearby.
Camping chair.
Man, it really
Gets
pretty-
cold. He gets a little propane thing
Sure.
going on.
Yeah.
I mean,
But that maybe there's some stuff for s'mores if you're really hungry. Just open a bag of marshmallows or something. Scarf them down.
Or I got even there's a breaker out there called Firehand. He could actually go get those hand warmers and be like, I'm heating up my hands for you guys today.
Great.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a
Yes.
lot of play on stuff here. Also, maybe he's got a rare Stanley Cup back there too that he could be selling while he's on the feed.
Could be selling Stanley stuff.
It's not the dumbest thing I've seen.
No, maybe again, I'm starting to warm up to this.
I like it. I like it.
And then you could actually probably go get yourself a high noon, pour it in a Stanley Cup, leave it there, and I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I've heard of somebody that has done that. Like, it was Black Friday, and I heard that somebody was trying to keep the party going, went and got a cup from Target, and then went and got a high noon, poured it in the cup, walked around, shopped with the high noon cup, and just kept, had a free drink.
There you go.
So, I'm sure people take advantage
That's
of
a
that
good
as well.
time to do something like that because no one is paying attention to that.
Yeah, Black Friday.
No one's
they're
paying
worried about
attention to the
stock.
food aisle during Black Friday. Nobody cares.
Also, guys, we're going to tease around. We're going to be doing the biggest MLB break ever coming up, and more details to follow. We're talking about 19 years of different baseball products, starting with 1980 Topps vending box, which has 500 cards, pretty solid chance at least one Ricky Henderson, if not two. We also got 1993 Finest in the break, so the first year of Finest. We have 1993 SPX, which is the foil Jeter chases, as well as Johnny Damon. Don't forget about Johnny Damon. He's a good player, too. All the way up to, we're doing 2024 Topps Chrome in the break. We've got 2018 Definitive with Ohtani chase. We've got 2016 Bowman Chrome with Vlad, Tatis, Soto. So more details to follow. It's going to be a pick-your-team break, so you can be like, you know what? I'm going to buy the Angels and try to get one of these Ohtani rookies. I'm going to buy the Yankees and go for the Derek Jeter. I'm going to buy the A's and go for the Ricky Henderson. So more details to come on that, guys, as that emerges. But we're excited to be doing that on All-Star Week. So we will tell you it's going to be an All-Star Week, and we're going to get into that break. But unless we have some questions from the live chats, I think that's it for today's show.
What up, live chat? What up?
Yeah, we'll open it to questions here in the last few minutes. Live chat for a couple minutes. Hopefully.
Yes, 89 Upper Deck is in there as well.
There you go.
Actually, multiple 89 Upper Decks.
When you said the Ricky Henderson stuff, if I recall our last big baseball break where we opened, how many boxes did we open to try to chase the Ricky Henderson?
I think we did get one. It was the 89 Upper Deck. I opened up 3 boxes and did not get one.
Oh, that's what it was. Was it the Griffey?
It was the Griffey.
Oh, man.
Yeah, never.
It was the Griffey. So
okay, that's what it was.
Trying again.
Yeah.
We've pulled one before. We've done it. I mean, I pulled one back.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
I remember we hit that second one and we were all just kind of like, oh, do we do it?
But
do we do it?
I'm calling it. I'm going to guarantee a Ken Griffey Jr. 89 Upper Deck.
There we go.
I'm going to guarantee
Get mad at this guy.
I like it. I can't wait for it. It's going to be exciting.
Definitely going to guarantee a 1989 Randy Johnson, too.
Plenty of those.
Plenty of those.
And some holographic stickers of teams.
The little circular stickers.
Yeah.
And don't forget, there's also Gary Sheffield rookies in there.
Yes. Sheffield rookie on the
Brewers.
Yep, Milwaukee. That's right. When he was a infielder at the time.
Yep, third baseman.
Yeah, so this is going to be a once-in-a-lifetime baseball break for you guys, and every imaginable possibility can be achieved in this break. So also the other cool thing about it is every team will get either a signed jersey or a signed ball that are from Fanatics. So it'll be the authentic jerseys. It'll be like a World Series ball. So you're guaranteed a memorabilia item in this break along with the other 120 boxes that are in the break.
That's really cool.
So should be fun.
Awesome. Yeah.
But we'll leave you guys on that note for Hype 346. Make sure you guys hit subscribe here on if you're watching us live. And we appreciate our audio listeners, all the comments. Join the Facebook group as well. Contribute to that. And we'll see you guys next week on the Hype. Peace.